This is Sparta!
Senator DeMint, thank you for joining us.
Jonathan,
appreciate it.
It's good to be with you.
Okay, so we have some big news here. The Republicans have dropped out of these Joe Biden talks about the debt ceiling, saying, you know, unless we resolve this issue of taxes, we're going to pull right out. What's going on?
Well, Jonathan, honestly, I think this was just a tactic of the president to burn some time towards the crisis deadline in August. That's why a number of us have decided we owe it to the American people to tell them what we really think, what we believe, what we're willing to stand for. And that's why we've got this commitment to America, this pledge that we're going to oppose any increase in the debt limit unless we have three things. So we cut spending, we cap spending over several years, and most importantly, we pass a balanced budget amendment that the states
Let me get this straight. So you're saying you will oppose any increase in the debt ceiling unless the Congress, both houses, have already passed a balanced budget amendment.
That's exactly right.
You know that's not going to happen by August.
It has to happen. If it doesn't, we're going to crash our country. That's why it's the most important issue here. You know, Geithner's trying to scare everyone, oh, we're going to default. First of all, we'll never default. If it's the last penny we have, we'll pay our debts.
But let me understand. You're saying you don't believe the Treasury Secretary, that August 2nd is drop dead and the economic consequences are, the White House has said, catastrophic.
No, I don't believe him. It's not true. They did the same thing with the bailout. We had a few banks we needed to take care of, but they created a crisis and went well beyond anything we needed to do. They'll have to begin to trim back, but that's what we need to do anyway. There's an addiction to spending here, and we're going to crash our country unless we force this government, like 49 states already do. These 49 states have to balance their budget because their constitutions require it.
What happens to Republicans who go along with a debt ceiling increase? If they go along with a debt ceiling increase without a balanced budget amendment and the kind of stuff you're talking about?
I think for the most part they're gone. It would be the most toxic vote we could take. If you look at the polls, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, they do not think we should increase the debt limit. And nearly 80% across party lines believe we should balance our budget.
So Republicans that go along with a debt ceiling increase are gone.
Yeah, well, I can't say that 100%, but I think based on what I can see around the country, not only are those individuals gone, but I suspect the Republican Party would be set back many years because you're going to immediately see third-party activity. I don't want that, but you're going to see people saying the Republican Party's not doing what they said. We lost a lot of confidence in that continuing resolution vote a couple of months ago where we said we were going to get $100 billion and ended up with maybe $5. I don't know what, wasn't much. So people are watching us with a very suspicious eye right now.
Okay, what about you though? Because you're not just a senator from South Carolina. You've got a movement behind you. You've got your own fundraising apparatus. You've been known to weigh in some of these primaries. Are you going to get active against Republicans who go along with a debt ceiling increase if they do?
Well, I'm working really on challengers right now. If my candidates, the candidates I'm looking at running for the Senate don't sign the pledge, they're not going to be on my list. The same with presidential candidates. I don't have many litmus tests, but this is one. Any candidate for president who doesn't understand we need to balance the budget should not be president of the United States. So I'm looking for candidates to sign the pledge. As of today, we already had three, Tim Pawlenty, Herman Cain, Ron Paul. I think more of them will sign it, and I think you'll see most of the Senate candidates, particularly Republicans, signing the pledge.
All right, on the presidential level, I want to ask you about John Huntsman, just the latest entrant into this race. Can a guy who supported cap and trade, who's in favor of civil unions, who was appointed by President Obama as the ambassador to China, win the Republican nomination?
I don't know. I think my focus is he said he wasn't going to sign, at least I heard he said he wasn't going to sign our pledge to balance the budget. For me, that's a deal killer.
A deal killer,
so we'll see. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, and I don't want to write anyone off. Yeah. And we've all had some...
but are you a little skeptical about somebody who could have, been appointed by Obama to ambassador to China and... he's been very critical of Republican leadership. I mean, could you, what's your sense?
I'm skeptical of all of them. Being in politics, I know you've really got to to dig in to find out the true character of a person, because it seems that a lot of us say what we need to get elected, and then we go do something else. Americans are pretty tired of that, and I think 2012 is our last chance as a country. It's not Republican versus Democrat. For me, it's the final exam for the American people.
Yeah. Now, what about Mitt Romney? You obviously supported him last time. You haven't supported him yet this time.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of Mitt, we're friends.
But has he answered the health care question to your satisfaction?
No, I don't think the plan in Massachusetts has worked. I think mandates are the wrong way to get everyone insured. And I've always respected the Romney for taking it on. I just think we can look back at it and see the results and realize that that's not something that should be done at the federal or the state level when it requires mandates.
To be seen as a solid conservative choice for president, would he have to renounce that plan in Massachusetts?
I'll leave those answers to him. He's running a good campaign, and I'm going to keep an open mind about all the candidates. I'm not counting any of them out unless they don't support a balanced budget.
Right. Michele Bachmann, could she win the nomination?
She could. She's very capable, very smart. She's demonstrated some courage. So I think our field is a lot deeper than the media gives us credit for. The more I get a chance to interact with these candidates, I've been in Iowa and New Hampshire. I was with some of them in New Orleans. They've got a lot of depth, and I think they're developing. And as the public gets to know them, I think we're going to have a good solid 2 or 3 to fight through this primary.
Is there any conceivable way that you get into this race?
Not that I can conceive at this point.
Not that you can see, but you don't absolutely rule it out.
Well, I don't rule out anything in life, but I have no plans, no intent, no desire to run for president.
You're not like General Sherman, though.
I don't think so. Remember, he burned Atlanta, man. I know I'm not like Sherman.
Okay, well, we know a few ways you're not like General Sherman. All right, Senator Jim DeMint, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking time to talk to us. Appreciate it. All right.